Okay guys, here's the pattern that I created there from a picture of what a center seam moccasin should look like. And what I used was just a piece of pasteboard that's already got a center bend in it. See how that bends right there? And instead of drawing a line down a piece of paper, I've just used a pasteboard with a piece of bend in it, or one that bends so that you'll have that center seam already there. Okay. Now what I did was I stood on the paper and I drawed the outline of my foot 2 inches from the bottom of this piece of pasteboard. I made a straight line and I put my heels at that straight line, and then I drawed that pattern. Okay, the next thing I done was right here at the ball of my foot, I marked these lines right here. And the way you get these two distances right here, these two distances from here to here, is you take a piece of string and wrap it around the ball of your foot. Cut it off even. That string, then you lay it out across this dotted line right here. Half of it on this side of the line and a half of that string on that side of the line. So there you see it. There's a piece of string around the ball of my foot. That's the widest part of your foot. Okay? And there you can see it. I'm holding it in place, but you can see half the string is on one side of the center line and half of it's on the other. That's the circumference around your foot, and that's how you get this point and that point. And that's right off of the ball of your foot, right down where that knuckle sticks out below your little toe. That's those two lines. Then from there, you measure over 2 inches. Straight over 2 inches. Do the same on this side. And that's going to be the top of your moccasin. From the distance between your toes, see, here's my toes right here. And this outside line, you have to go out there to give yourself some distance. So that's a 1/2 inch all the way around to that point. Then, according to how long your foot is down from here, you're going to simply measure a straight line, a 90 degree, all the way down to this line, according to how big your foot is. Mine just happens to be 10.5 inches. And then, when you do that on both sides. Then when you come over here to the center, back to the center of your moccasin again, measure 1 inch off to the side this way and 1 inch off to the side that way. And of course this is you're going to cut this line from here to here. You're going to make a slice right there, and that's going to be the flap that goes either up on the back of your moccasin, or some people just make them decorative and leave them laying down. Then go to the center of this line right here, over to this line. Go to the center of that line and measure up a 1/2 inch, and then just draw you a line just exactly like I've done it right there. I think that's pretty simple. Just draw that line a 1/2 inch up to get the back of this moccasin right. Okay? And that's what it is about as simple as I can explain there how to do that. Just stand on that piece of paper with both your feet in those equal places, and then measure your pattern out, and then we'll cut it out of a piece of felt first to see if it works before we cut it out of leather. And guys, this is all you have to make this pattern. We just need a straight edge, preferably one that's got numbers on it. That just makes it easier to take your measurements around. See how easy that is? And from the tip of my toe to the heel, that measurement comes out to be 11 inches. And incidentally, right across there, that center line, that 10.5 inches around that whole moccasin happens to be what my shoe size is. So that's an interesting thing that I just found out. Okay, there's the tools you need. So let's start down here and let's make a cut at the bottom of my heel that way, and let's turn it around. We're going to cut this line right here My scissors is a little bit dull there. But we cut right over there and we take that section out right there. Now, come up this line. Of course, if you're out in a survival situation, you're just going to have to use your knife to do this with, I guess, unless you got a pair of scissors in your pack. Okay guys, there it is. There's the cutout pattern. That's what it should look like. The reason you made these curves down at the bottom of your pattern is that's the back of your ankle, or that's the back of your foot. Now, all you do, see what it looks like? It looks like a moccasin. Now, we'll simply take and cut it out of felt first to see if it fits our foot. And that looks pretty good. But there it is. That's what the pattern should look like. And you see how I left the little tab on the back. Like I say, you can either turn that tab up and sew it to the back of your moccasin, or you can leave it down as a decorative thing and cut little notches in it. There's how it works. And it actually looks like a moccasin now. Incidentally, if you want this to be a higher top moccasin, simply make these things longer. You can make this thing as long as you want to make a higher top moccasin out of it. And there it is. Okay, you all, here we go. We'll just mark it out on a piece of felt. We'll just cut that thing right out of there. Then we'll sew it up and see how it fits our foot. Make sure you cut your little piece here at the back. And I've got that right at the edge, so there's our moccasin laid out. Okay guys, there's the pattern. See how pretty that is? Now you just simply set your foot. See if I can do that without falling over. Set your foot right up there on that thing. At the back, pull it up. You'll be sewing it up from this point right here all the way down and up the back. So I'll get some needle and thread and sew that up for us and see how that turns out. Okay, you all, when you're doing this with your piece of leather, turn your piece of leather wrong side out so that the stitching will be on the inside when you turn the moccasin around to the right side. So just make sure you turn it wrong side out and sew it up. Now you're noticing here I'm just using a simple whip stitch. That's all that is. Incidentally, you can take this same felt piece right here and insert it to the inside of your moccasin boot and have you a nice little warm insole inside there if you want to. See, just whip stitch it up right around to the tip. Okay, I've got the toe part of it sewed up. See how that looks? Now we'll do the same thing to the back side. We'll just start right there at that little tab and we'll just whip stitch that. And we'll see how that works. Okay guys, there's what your moccasin should look like. It's pretty simple. There's the tab on this one. I'm going to sew this one to the back of it so that I don't have, or I have like a reinforcement at the back. So what I'll do now is turn this thing wrong. This is sewed up with the this is the outside or the inside of your moccasin. So what we'll do is we'll just turn that thing around this way. And see how pretty your seam is now? Do the same thing. Now, on the back of your moccasin, see? Sew it all the way up on the back. But don't sew it all the way up on the front, because you can cut this as to be decorative if you want to. See how that looks? And that tab is sticking up through there. But what I'll do is I'll take that tab and I'll poke it back out the hole, and then I'll sew that tab up around the back of it. And like I say, you can do that either way you want to. Okay guys, there's my moccasin. And there's how you would do it in the field if you're going to have to make you a pair of moccasins in a survival situation. There's what it looks like. See? Like I said before, if you want these to be high top moccasins, in other words, if there's snow on the ground or you need to protect your ankles on up this far, then just, you know, make this part right here come right on up in your pattern. See that? Now guys, I'll sew them up out of leather and let you see them at the end of this video. I want y'all to give it a try and let me know how it comes out. Okay you guys, there's a piece of buckskin I made. See how nice and pretty that is? That's one of those skins that I tanned with leaves. Turned out to be a real nice color. You see it's a little splotchy because when you let a piece of skin set up and then you stretch it out or stretch the fibers loose, you're going to stretch that darkness out of it. See how dark it is on the edge? That's what its original color was, and that's not stretched right there. But to make your moccasins get in the center of your deer skin, right in the back of it, and cut your pattern out because that's the thickest part of your skin. And I've just barely got enough, I think, to do 2 moccasins with this skin and not have any holes in them, I hope. I think I do. But anyway, there's the skin I'm going to do it with. And that's going to be my center seam moccasin before I'm done. Okay guys, there it is, laid out on buckskin. Cut it out, mark it out on the back side or the flesh side of your skin because that's going to be the inside of your boot, of course. I barely got it around them 2 big 44 Magnum holes there in the sides of it that my son Seth put in there. So I'm going to sew them up with artificial sinew. If you was out in the field and had to do this, you could just take pieces of the edge of your skin and cut them into strips, wet them down, punch your holes and sew it that way. But I'm going to do it with artificial sinew. Alright guys, there's our moccasins. They're cut out of leather now. So all I got to do is sew them up with artificial sinew and put them on my feet. Okay guys, in my first aid kit I carry Glover's needles. These are Glover's needles. They use them to sew up really thick leather. And the way I do it is I'll take and mash it down on a piece of hard stuff and punch it through, or I could pre-punch all them holes, but I want that thing to be tighter, and then I can take my pliers there and just pull that right through, and then makes up a really nice stitch. So you'll make it easier just have you a Glover's needle and a pair of Leathermans if you need them to do that. See how I'm stitching that toe up first, and I'll stitch it right on around. Okay guys, there's the first one right there, sewed up. Now I'm going to turn the thing in wrong side out, or right side out now, and let you see that. Okay, and there's what my moccasin's going to look like. That's a pretty nice looking moccasin, don't you guys think so? Okay guys, there's what it looks like on my foot. It's not a bad looking moccasin. Okay you guys, see how I'm fixing to do the heel tab on this one? That's going to make a sturdier heel tab. And instead of doing the whip stitch on that heel tab, I'm going to do what's called the running stitch. Okay guys, there's my moccasins. My center seam moccasins. Now folks, these things have to fit tight, because if they don't fit tight, when you're going down around the hillsides of West Virginia or wherever else you're at, these things tend to want to slide around on your feet. So these moccasins are really nice and tight. And that's some buckskin that I tanned from my son's deer that he killed this year, that you guys probably seen on video. But that's what they look like as of now. I haven't sewed that tab up on the back yet, but like I say, I will do a running stitch on that back tab and get that done that way. But there they are. Let me find this one. These, you can just make these, and they're just like little toasty foots. Just put that little bugger on your foot. Want something to wear around in the house? It's a nice, neat little way to do it. Cheap. You can get you a roll of felt and make you, oh man, I don't know how many you can make. So guys, that's another tip from your Bland County Survivor Man, and always thanks for watching.